Hey there, Youth Worship Training family. If you are leading worship, there are some really practical things that you can do to help you be successful every time. So, what I wanted to do was to give you a quick checklist that you can use every time you sit down to lead worship, that you can go through, and just a few simple things that will make sure that you have. That you're on the ball, that you don't miss anything, and that you've come to rehearsal and especially to your worship service prepared. And so this is the setup that I use. This does not include practice, okay? If you need to practice a song, like you just need to be continually in practice. That's a good idea. But I've created this. I'll have it linked on the next page so that you can download it as well. But I just kind of want to walk through it and talk you through my system. So if you see me looking off to the side, it's because I've got it up here on the screen and I want to make sure that I touch on everything. So the very first thing that's important to do is to contact your band and vocalists. Okay. Now, why not pick the songs first? That usually is where we start is hey, I'm leading worship. I'm going to pick the songs, right? Well, the problem with that is that I have found after years and years and years of doing this that a lot of times some band members play songs better than others, right? Or particular songs will go better with particular band members. Or what if I build a whole set around a particular vocalist singing a song, right? But I don't know whether or not they're available that week. Right? You want to contact your band members, you want to contact your vocalists first, and you want to get confirmations from everybody, knowing that they're coming. Now, what you can do is just go ahead and contact them, and then start planning your set, assuming that everybody who you would like to be on your team that week will show up. I do that all the time, but a lot of the time that means that I'm doing work twice because I have to go back after somebody declines and I'm swapping places with another vocalist, or I got to get a different guitarist because this one doesn't know the lead lines or whatever. So just know that you're going to have to do work twice if you haven't gotten confirmations before you start planning a set. Okay. Next thing that you're going to do is you're going to pick the song options for the set. Now, notice that I said pick song options for the set. At this stage, what I have found to be really helpful is to just go through my song list and pick a bunch of songs. Like pick songs that I'm just like really excited about. There's another video in the future I'll talk about how to know when is the right time to select a song, what is a good rhythm and a good pattern and a good rotation for songs, because you don't want to do the same song every week, but you also don't want to go a whole year without doing a song that you would rather have in your normal repertoire, and you want your youth group to know, right? And so there's a balance between like picking songs and how often to play them in order to make everything feel familiar, and also like how do you introduce new songs and stuff like that. We'll get into that in a little bit, but for right now, just pick song options. Okay, sometimes I will have a set list of up to 10 songs, and I'll even email out. So we use Planning Center, and so everybody can see the plan for that week. A lot of times it will just be a list of a bunch of songs, and I'll contact my band and vocalist with all of these different options already scheduled out on the set list, and we won't even do all 10 of those songs. It's just the ones that I feel like the Lord has had on my heart, and I think that would be beneficial for my church to sing. And so in the same way, don't feel like when you initially pick the songs that you have to pick the 3 or 4 or maybe even 5 songs that are absolutely going to be the ones that you sing on a Wednesday night or a Sunday night whenever you have your services. Okay. And the next thing you need to do is you need to pray over your set list. I want you to spend some time with the set list. You can schedule one day and then just be the set, I'm gonna. So for in my instance, I pick 5 songs a week to lead on a Sunday morning. And so I can do that. I can sit down on a Monday and be like, okay, this Sunday I'm going to, pick 5 songs, whatever. But really, a lot of the times if I'll sit with those songs and pray over them, sometimes by Tuesday afternoon, I don't feel the same way about the set as I do on Monday morning. Okay. because I've just come off of leading worship. And so I'll give myself some time, and I'll just allow the Lord to speak to me, and I'll just be like, Lord, what do you want us to sing to you this week? What would you like to hear? And then I'll go from there. And I'm always willing to change things. Never be afraid to follow the Holy Spirit and to change things. Don't change something that is simple for something that's highly complex unless you know that your band and your team can handle it. Or if you're just already at that really high skill level inside of your band. But for the most part, I think most student-led worship teams are not going to be at the point where you can just throw in a firm foundation. Christ is my firm foundation, the rock on which I stand. If you're going to play that like the recording, that song is really, really complicated. And so I wouldn't just throw that at your team the day of. If you're going to do a song like that, give them some time. But if you're going to do Great Are You, Lord, it's only a few chords. There's only 2 sections to it. And other than that, it's just the same chords over and over. Or Waymaker, same chords over and over, simple melodies, simple lyrics. Don't be afraid, even the day of, to be like, you know what? Waymaker feels like a good song this week. I really think that our people need to sing this. And that comes by spending time with your set list and praying over it and just asking the Lord what he wants to hear from you this week. Okay. The next thing I would have you do is run through all of the songs. Now, if you're not an instrumentalist, that means just grab your iPhone or whatever, go for a drive and sing it out in the car or in the shower or whatever. Just live with the songs, sing them out. If you're an instrumentalist, I used to print out all of the music, lay it out on my floor in my office, especially when I was I did an internship. I would lay it out on the floor of my boss's office, my mentor's office, and I'd just grab a guitar or I'd sit down at the piano and I'd just play through songs. What this really does is it doesn't necessarily give you, it's not practice, right? Practice, you want to start from the beginning of the song, make sure you can get all the way to the end of the song. What this will do is it will help you to be able to jump around a little bit. And so sometimes, you'll find man, this chorus is singing about God's goodness, right? Maybe we could go into his faithfulness, and so we could be singing goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. Every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. Great is thy faithfulness, O God, my Father. That's those moments of spread out the music, make sure you've got all the music available, just kind of ooze your way in between some songs. See if you can connect a bridge to a chorus of another song or something like that. You don't have to lead worship in that way, but sometimes you'll find those rare gems where it's man, these 2 songs were made to be sung back to back, or these 2 songs were made to be sung together. Maybe I should find some keys that work together so that I can transition really quickly from one to the other, or I could tag the bridge at the end and then go right into verse 1 of the next song if they're in the same key, or if they're in the same kind of rhythm structure or tempo. Okay, so that's where you want to work on that stuff. So solo, run through everything. Okay. Now, after you've come up with your plan of what you're going to do, you want to roadmap your songs and transitions. Okay. Most worship songs follow the same roadmap. You're going to have verse 1, chorus, verse 2, chorus, bridge, chorus, and then you're out, right? So if you've got 3 verses, you just want to make sure that you don't even have to do this on Planning Center where everybody can see the roadmap if you are really good at leading vocally or if your team knows. But you need to know, at least to a certain degree, how the structure of the song is going to go. How many verses are you going to do before you hit a chorus? When do you want it to be loud? When do you want it to be soft? Print out your music and write in what you want. And then it will be a reminder to you during your rehearsal to ask for those things, okay? Your band is not going to just magically pick up on what you want. Whenever I'm playing with new people, now my band, since I've been playing with them a long time, I can change the dynamics of the song by the way I'm strumming the guitar, because my drummer is really good at picking up what I'm trying to communicate. But it does not take long to get there, but initially, you're going to have to tell your band members what you want in the dynamics of the song. And a reminder on your page is going to help you be able to communicate that a lot better. Okay? And some vocalists, some band members really want to know the structure of the song. And it's okay to have moments of just like free, spontaneous worship. In fact, I would greatly encourage you to do that. But you can pretty much guarantee that you're going to go verse 1, chorus, right? Or verse 1, verse 2, chorus, right? So as much structure as you can give your band, go ahead and give that to them. And then if you want to add in spontaneous moments, what I tell my band on a Sunday morning is, after we get through, verse 1, chorus, verse 2, chorus, in that instrumental break before the bridge, just be ready to continue to play that. I don't know what the Spirit's going to do, and I'm going to watch the congregation. I'm going to see what's happening, and I might just in freedom, just go out and do the next right thing that the Lord is telling me to do in that moment. And be ready to do that again after the bridge, all right? Just watch me. I'll try to say, let's just continue to play these chords and sing out to the Lord or something like that, And just have some of those phrases ready to go on those moments in the song where you feel like the Lord might lead you into a spontaneous moment, okay? So that's roadmap songs and transitions. You want to make sure before you get to rehearsal, you know how you're going to get from one song to another. It's okay to have a cold break in between songs, that you have to be able to communicate that. If you got a lighting guy and you want it to black out, you're going to have to tell him that, okay? Or if you have two songs that go back to back, they're in similar keys or in the same key, so that you don't have to really slow down or stop in between the two, and you can have your music up and ready to go. We'd love for you to have your music memorized, but if you have your music up and ready to go, and then you're just going to need a little bit of time to do a page turn, maybe that's a good time to read a word of scripture before the next song to prepare your congregation's heart for the next song. Maybe have that written out on your sheet music so that as you're fumbling with your music, you can actually have one of those pieces of paper that you're already going to be touching that already has the verse on it. And you can just read out what you wanted it to say. Okay, we'll talk more about transitions in another section, and what to say in between songs. But this is going to be a really powerful moment. You also want to know if you are working in relative keys, if musically you can go from one thing to the next, you're going to want to talk to the instrumentalists who are going to be responsible for that. So if the acoustic guitar is going from one song to another, then you need to make sure he's ready to go. He doesn't need you to nod or whatever. He knows right when to come in. The same with a pianist or keyboardist. They're usually a little bit better at picking up when to keep going. And if you know that you're going to say something in between songs, tell them. All right, tell them, look, I'm going to talk in between the songs. Please go ahead and start the song. Don't wait for me to direct you in. And if you don't know what to do, just start playing something in the right key, nice and soft, and then I'll get the band going after I'm done talking. Okay. All right, the next thing is super practical: lyric projection and set the stage. If you can be a part of helping set the stage before your rehearsal, it's going to help a lot to make sure that you don't have problems going on. You want your cables all coiled nicely and correctly, because a messy stage is just a trip hazard, okay? And you want to remove as many distractions as you can. And you'll also know where all of your band members will be before they get there. And so when they come, you want to be the one who has all of the answers, since you are the leader, okay? So do what you can to practically help set the stage. Also, make sure that your lyrics are ready to go if you're using ProPresenter, if you're using PowerPoint or whatever. If you've already done your roadmap of your songs on your song sheets, then you can just bring your music into the projection booth or lyric booth or computer or whatever, and then you'll be ready to go. Now, there are tons of places online where you can find the lyrics where you won't have to manually type everything yourself, but just be ready to make sure that your lyrics are ready to go. If you've got a tech guy responsible for that, if you can give him just a little shorthand, hey, verse 1, verse 2, whatever, or an email, then that's going to really help him out a lot, and he'll really appreciate it. All right, last thing you need to do is send reminders to your band and tech. Now, part of being a worship leader in your youth group means that you are leading, all right? Which means that you are the contact point. You cannot be late, all right? You cannot be late. If you don't have a lot of time to get from where you're supposed to be to rehearsal, then you need to bump your rehearsal back a little bit to make sure that you are always there on time, okay? You need to be the one who is sending text messages to everyone. That's not your youth leader's job. Take that over from him or her and just make it your job to make sure that everybody is at least knows what's going on, okay? You're always going to have last minute cancellations. You're always going to have people who get sick. You're always going to have tech that doesn't show up. That's always going to be an issue and a problem to overcome, but you can absolutely do it. You can take care of it, and you can meet that challenge head on. And if you've been in contact with people, it makes them a lot more willing to reach out to you and tell you, hey, listen, I'm not going to be there this week. Or, oh no, I'm running late. I better text whoever. All right. If you are not in contact with them, then they're going to feel ashamed for being late or not showing up, and then you'll just get no shows without answers. What you don't want to do is have an entire band ready to go on stage, ready to rehearse, and you're sitting there texting the drummer trying to find out if they're coming tonight or not, all right? You need to know that beforehand, if at all possible. Now, this is by no means a complete list. I'm sure there's things that I've left off of this checklist, but if you follow this on a weekly basis, it will absolutely help things run smoother for you. So, click on over to the next page. The PDF of this page will be available for you. You can download it and print it off. And I pray the best for your worship services. I pray that, and it's really, what I've found is that it's this preparation time before you're actually in the worship set that really helps you fall in love with the music, okay? And helps you get past like lyrics and melodies and chords and into what is the Lord actually trying to say in this song, okay? And that's the goal, is we want to actually be worshiping when we're worshiping. All right, so I hope this is helpful to you, and we'll see you in the next video.